Hey everybody, welcome back to Markets for Millennials coming at you on a Wednesday. And I just wanted to take some time to go over with you my current thesis for where Bitcoin's price is going to end up in this cycle. And a question that everyone, it seems, has been asking lately is the cycle over? Are we starting a new cycle? Is has Bitcoin already peaked? Was this high in April of 2021 or the high of November of 2021 the peak? Are we in for a long bear market? Are we starting something new? There's a lot of stuff going on out there, a lot of opinions and a lot of rumors, and I wanted to come at you with my thesis and how I believe that even now, even as we speak, we have not seen Bitcoin's highest price in this 2020 through 2024 halving cycle. In fact, I want to assert to you that my view right now is that unless we have particular price indicators that are not reached before the end of this current halving cycle, then then there are multiple options on the table for where Bitcoin's price is going to peak and when Bitcoin's price is going to peak. So let me just walk through this with you. I'm going to change this back to candles so that it's easier to see. The lines that you see on the screen, if you can see these lines, I'm not sure if they're visible. You should be able to see the blue vertical is the halving and the gold vertical is the peak. And so we've had three halvings of the miner's reward. And post halving, we've seen two peaks. I did not mark this peak from 2011 because it's not post halving. But what I'd like to show you is if we go off of Bitcoin's first big peak pre halving, a lot of people have made use of these ratios, these fib levels that go from the peak of a particular period of time to the cycle low, or what we have deemed to be the cycle low. And what I want to show you in this video is that there are particular price dynamics that have happened in every single cycle, and that the only way to really confirm that things will be different in this cycle is to make it to the next halving without any of these cases to be true. So what I will be using is the log fib from the cycle peak to the cycle lows, and I'm going to use to show you how price has consistently reached the same kinds of levels using log fibs in every single cycle. Now, what this does mean, this thesis basically does entail a diminishing return in terms of from the cycle low to the cycle peak. So the thesis counts on this idea that every time from every cycle peak to its, or from every cycle low to its next peak, it will be a decreased return compared to the previous cycle low to the peak. So I'll show you what this looks like right now. And so we'll start off by looking at the first post 2011 peak. So if we zoom in just a little bit here, I'm going to have the whole cycle peak to the 2013 peak on the screen for you. So as you can see here, I've got the peak going right up to in June of 2011. And then I'm logging I have the log fib, which is showing coming down to the low, which came in November of 2011. And so what you see here is on the retrace and on the extension, price has done this thing where the kind of the base principle here is that price has peaked in the next cycle between the 2.236 and 2.382 log Fibonacci. And so you can actually see that here, and I will show you how this has worked in previous cycles. But I also want to show you that if you even go out further, then what you find is if you further extend those log fibs out into the next cycle, right? So not just the 2013 peak in November, but also the December 2017 peak. The price peaked between the 3 2.36 and the 3 3.82 log fib. And so that dynamic took place. And so if we were to extend that into our current cycle, it doesn't, I'm not sure when it would happen. Honestly, it could happen anytime between now and whenever the next halving is going to take place, sometime in early to mid 2024. So if that were to take place, if price history were to repeat itself again in terms of the log fibs, then that would mean that price would peak sometime somewhere in between 251,566 and $377,105. Now, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but that price history, if it continues to add basically one to its Fibonacci sequence, then that's where it would end up. And it's entirely possible, if you think about the length of time that it's taken to get from peak 1 to peak 2 and peak 2 to peak 3, right? You could see how we could further extend. This would be in agreement with the lengthening cycle theory that a lot of people are talking about. Okay, so I want you to just see, I'm calling this price symmetry because what I want you to see is I'm using the word symmetry to talk about how the level, the fib level continues to be kind of the same as long as you just add one to each. So that's where you see it the first time. Now let me get rid of this first fib, and then let me zoom in on the 2013 peak. And you'll have to forgive me. I'm using the Bitcoin calculated by trading view chart, and so there are a few differences in terms of where the highest price point is showing versus if you use the BLX chart or the Bitstamp chart or otherwise. But anyway, if I use the next cycle, then what you see here is that from the cycle peak in November 2013 until the cycle low, which honestly, it doesn't really matter. Normally I use the January 2015 low, but because for this chart, I wanted to show you consistently where the lowest price point is. I'm using the August 2015 level, and it really doesn't matter because the difference is minimal in terms of where it shows up. But if you use that level, then you can see right here that price once again in 2017 in December peaked between the 2.236 level and the 2.382 log fib level. And so you see that price behavior has been consistent. Okay, and it actually took, if you think about it, if you want to go, whether you're talking about from the halving to the price peak, it took a little bit longer. Or if you want to think about it in terms of the cycle low to the price peak, right? 740 days for one. And then if we go from here, then it's definitely longer. But even if we go from this date, we're talking about a longer period of time. So again, you're seeing that you're not only, like, whether you're looking at it from the cycle low or from the halving, it is taking longer for price to peak. And I don't think that is for no reason. Okay, but then if we pull back, right, if we extend this chart out a little bit, then this means that price could peak somewhere in the range of if we follow the same sort of behavior that happened before, then price will peak between $118,059 or $158,947. And so again, if we're following to be consistent here, that's where price would peak if we just add a 1 to the fib level as I did previously. Okay, and then so then, having said all of that, then what we're going to do now is we're going to use the third halving, which we're currently in. for price action. And if we just basically use the same principle of the 2.236, then what you see is that price ends up between $194,088 and $254,149. And so what I've done is I've marked all three of those boxes where price could peak based on the price history. So if I turn if I turn all of these on, right, it looks really messy. But if I turn all of them on, then you see all of those levels begin to converge in that price zone. So let me just kind of circle, generally speaking, circle this zone. Okay. And so now I will go zoom back in and come up here. So you can kind of see we can expect, if price history repeats itself, we can expect the price to come right up into this area. And then the next part of this is then when is this going to happen? So the basic thesis is that something about that price behavior is going to continue. And the crux of the matter is, until we have to get to the next halving without reaching this level in order for this to be invalidated. Now, a lot of people won't like that, because a lot of people won't like the idea of having to wait through all of 2022 and all of 2023 until we get to the 2024 halving to figure out if price is going to get up to this area. But the reality is we may have to wait for that level for that to happen. So if we take the time to calculate out cycle low to cycle peak approximately, right? And again, maybe I'll use these levels here. So, and I'm just kind of doing this on the fly right here because I actually didn't plan on this. If we plan on extending a couple hundred days, as it, 752 to 1073, if I go, something like 300 days, then that puts us into, Q3 or possibly even Q4 of 2022 before reaching the cycle peak. And then that would also be the case if we were talking about going from halving to the peak. We would see somewhere in this range that I'm showing you in that yellow circle that I just indicated. So my base case is that sometime, and I've kind of marked these levels, sometime between the middle of March and the middle of October of this year, I'm looking for price to be somewhere, and this is a very big range, but I'm accounting for all the possibilities based on previous price history, that price will be somewhere between 118,000 and 377,000. And I feel very confident about this. And because I got into Bitcoin at a reasonable price, and I'm in a position of power, I am totally comfortable with waiting all of this price action, whatever is going to happen. Price could, maybe we come down and then we come up. Maybe price just goes right up from here and we make that peak, and then we get a traditional bear market, a traditional Bitcoin bear market, I should say. Whatever the case may be, I am comfortable with it. But that's why I am confident in saying that you can't say that price will not reach these levels, or that the cycle is over, or that we're in a new cycle, until we have confirmed this level or this region, and or have nullified it by getting to the next halving without reaching this level. All right, so that's my look. That's my thesis. That's what I'm watching for. If you thought this video was interesting, go ahead and like and subscribe. If you want to follow my work, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at Mr. J. Thomason. And thank you for watching. Go ahead and share this with somebody if you think it was beneficial. And I will see you guys next time.